This is a review of the Nuwave Bravo XL Smart Oven almost 2 years later. Is it still worth it? Hey love, it's Yentl, holistic dietitian and stress therapist, helping women with cancer and chronic conditions thrive in remission and prevention. So if that sounds like your vibe, be sure to subscribe and join the tribe. So almost 2 years ago, I did a review on the Nuwave Bravo XL Smart Oven. It was actually an unboxing and my first impression of the Smart Oven. Now, almost 2 years later, what has my experience been? Am I still using it? Well, it is right here in my kitchen. This is the spot where it has been since I first unboxed it and started using it. And although it does have a few small cons that I'll go over in just a minute, I gotta say, we really do love this smart oven. We use it every single day, mainly to toast bread, but we've also used the air fryer function and the bake function. So I'm gonna talk about the pros first, and then I'll mention the few cons. So for one, I do enjoy the size of this smart oven. At first, I was a little bit intimidated by the size. I thought it would be way too big for our kitchen, but I like the fact that there's enough space between the oven and the kitchen cabinets. And it's also wide enough to fit a variety of things. It's actually wide enough to fit a personal pizza in there. You could even fit a whole chicken in there. But to be quite honest, I haven't used it for those things. I mainly toast bread in here every single morning. And we have also used the air fryer for chicken tenders and for vegetables, just for different things. But those have been the main functions that we've used. We've also baked a few small items in there, like pan de bonos. For those of you who don't know, those are Colombian cheese breads. We've used it to bake in here, so we don't have to use the main big oven. I also really like how easy it is to keep clean. The rack inside, you can actually place it in the dishwasher. And then this tray here on the bottom is so easy to pull out and hand wash and put right back in to make it look good as new again. So I mean, those are really the main pros. It does what it says it's going to do, but even though it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, it is something that we do use every single day. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the cons. So first, to be honest with you, I was really excited about using some additional functions in this oven that other ovens don't have. So for example, there's a dehydrate option, there's a grill option, and there's also an option to use a temperature probe. And I honestly have not even used those functions. The dehydrate option, I've used it once, and I'll link the video of the recipes that I made with that option. But other than that, we have not ventured into using those options. Another thing that I mentioned in my first impressions video was that this oven does make like a weird sound when it's plugged in. I mean, it's not loud, but it's a low electric drumming sound. I don't even know how to describe it. But as you can see, I have it unplugged. We've just gotten used to unplugging it every time after we use it, but it is one of those small things that can be just a little bit annoying sometimes to have to remember to unplug it so you don't hear that sound when it's plugged in. The other thing that we really are not enjoying too much about it is all the buttons that you have to press to use the function that you want to use. So for example, I'm turning it on and you have to press the menu button to then be able to pick what option you want to use. If you want to use the air fry function, reheat, waffle, etc., etc. You can't just use the knob to go to those options, because as you can see, the knob, what it does is it changes the temperature. What you have to do is press menu each time to get to what you want to use. And next, speaking of the different options, some of them are just repeats of each other. So we have a toast and a bagel option. And when you click on both of those, is the exact same setting, the exact same temperature and time. So it really isn't necessary to have two separate things for toast and bagel. The next thing is that certain things about it are not very user-friendly. For example, I want the air fry function. So again, pressing that menu button to go to the air fry function. And then if you want to change the temperature, it does get a little confusing because there's a button here that says temp and time. So you can press that, but if you press it, it just changes between temp and time. So as you can see, it changed to time now. Then I press it again, it changes to temp. But to raise the temperature or adjust the temperature or the time, you have to use the knob. And then once you get it to where you want it, you have to press the start button. And the start button is actually that same knob that you have to push in. And it's already started, but instinctively you think, oh, I have to press start again because it's at the time that I want it. But if you do that, it actually pauses it. But it doesn't tell you that it's paused. You don't realize it until you're looking at it and you're like, wait, it's still at the same time and I've had it there for a while. I speak from experience, that happened to me. So that's one of the other things that's not very user-friendly to begin with. The other thing about this oven that can get a little bit annoying is that once it's turned off, like once a function is finished, you can't change it to add more time. Let's say if it needed more time, you can't press any other button except to just turn it off and turn it back on again. So as you can see here, it's at the end of the cooking process. And let's say you go and you check and it needs a little bit more time. You can't press any other button to go back and add a little bit more time to it. You just have to turn it off and then turn it back on. Go through the menu option that you want, the temperature, hit start, and the time, and there you go. And another thing that has gotten a little bit frustrating at times with the bake function, which is probably one of the reasons why we don't use it as much in this oven, is that when you press start, it wants to preheat first naturally. However, it gives you only a certain amount of time to then go back and put in the time that you want your item to cook for before it turns off. So in other words, it preheats for the time that it needs to preheat at the temperature you set it. But then once it's preheated, it says that you have to press start and press the time that you want it to then cook. Otherwise, it's gonna just turn off after it's preheated. Lastly, something that a commenter mentioned that was an issue for them with this oven is that the surface temperature gets really hot. So to be very careful if you have kiddos around the house to make sure that this appliance, when being used, is not within reach for them. We personally don't have kiddos, and we haven't experienced the issue of it getting too hot. However, I do think it depends on where it's located in your kitchen and how much space there is for it to ventilate. So as you can see, ours is here next to our kitchen vent. So we haven't experienced the concern of it getting too hot or making the surfaces around it hot, but it is something to consider depending on where you put it to make sure that it has enough space to ventilate. All in all, with all of its quirks, we really like this oven a lot. As you can see, we've had it for almost 2 years. It's still here on our counter since the first day we put it there, and we use it every single day. However, Prior to receiving this one, we had another oven that also had an air fryer function that we used probably for like a month before we got this one. So if you'd like to see a versus video between this oven and the other oven, hit that like button. Do you own this Nuwave Bravo XL Smart Oven or something like it? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, you and your body are unique and beautiful. There is no one size fits all. So silence the standards because you are more. Does not reach the top of the counter. No, that's not the counter. It was actually an oh, wait, I gotta introduce myself. That's so cheesy.